I have been given 50 seconds to ask each of you questions and to hear your answers, which of course is patently absurd. So I'd ask if you would just answer my question directly. This isn't a question, Judge Gray, I may vote for you anyway, but I'll commit right now in front of God and country to vote for you if you'll move back to Louisiana. Judge Lynn, I've read a number of your writings. I want to, you wrote an article in December of 1998 entitled Person of Faith, Race and Religion as Experiential Knowledge. You wrote it in a journal called Perspective. And this is what you said, I quote, your words, not mine. The problem with the Christian coalition is not that they are Bible thumpers, parentheses, there are personal beliefs that often result from religious experiences, close parentheses, but that they are bigots, end of quote. Did I quote that correctly?
I believe you did.
Did you write that?
I did write that when I was 18 years old, or 20 years old, excuse me. I do want to be clear. I do not agree with that today. I wrote that before I went to law school, before I had any kind of
You were a grown woman when you wrote this.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Hot News Today, where we break down the biggest political moments today. We're diving into a jaw-dropping Senate Judiciary hearing featuring Senator John Kennedy, who grilled 2 Biden judicial nominees. What went down? Kennedy questioned everything from past writings to courtroom experience. And let's just say, it got tense. Stick around. Let's break it down.
I'm sorry.
You were a grown woman when you wrote this.
I was 20 years old when I wrote it. It was before I had a professional career.
You were in your 3rd year at Harvard?
I was
a senior at Harvard.
I was a junior at Harvard.
Junior. So you were 3/4 of the way through your Harvard education, and you wrote that.
That is correct, Senator. It is
Wow.
20 years before I became a judge. I do
Wow.
not agree with it today. I do want to be clear about that.
Okay.
So here's how it started. Senator Kennedy gets the mic and wastes 0 time. He opens by saying, I've been given 50 seconds to ask each of you questions, which is absurd. That's barely enough time to assess someone's qualification. Kennedy doesn't waste those seconds. He turns to Judge Lynn and references an old article she wrote in college. She called members of the Christian coalition bigots. Kennedy asks her point blank, did you write this? She admits it, says she wrote it in her junior year at Harvard, claims she doesn't believe it anymore. But Kennedy doesn't let up. You were a grown woman when you wrote this. That line alone, brutal. Then comes Judge Simmons, and wow, this was a checklist of courtroom non-experience. Kennedy goes full prosecutor here. Have you ever tried a case in federal court? No. Filed a brief in federal court? No. Presided over a jury trial? No. Issued any written opinions? Also no. Simmons explains that in her 5 years as a Superior Court judge, she's served in moving departments, which apparently don't issue written opinions. Now look, I'm not here to bash anyone, but when you're up for a federal lifetime appointment, these are basic questions. And Kennedy's not asking trick questions. He's trying to gauge if these folks are ready for the major leagues.
Judge Simmons, let me just ask you a couple questions. You finished law school in 2004?
Yes, sir.
All right. Have you ever tried a case in federal court?
I have not seen there.
Have you ever filed a brief in federal court?
I have not practiced in federal court. My entire practice has been in the state court.
Okay. Have you ever argued a motion in federal court?
I have my entire practice of over 12 years as a prosecutor has been in state court, Senator.
Okay. Have you ever, you serve as a state court judge, have you ever presided over a jury trial as a state court judge?
In the 5 years that I've been on the Superior Court bench, I have been in a moving department, and now I'm the supervising judge.
Have you ever tried a jury trial?
As an attorney, I have tried.
No, as a judge.
As a judge, I have presided over court trials, not jury trials, sir.
No, so the answer is no.
I have not presided over jury trials as a judge.
In the 5 years you've been on the state bench, have you ever written any opinions, issued any opinions?
Well, sir, I've been in moving departments in the 5 years that I've been as a Superior Court judge. We don't issue written opinions in moving departments on the Superior Court.
So the answer is no.
And then, it's pop quiz time. Kennedy rapid fires legal questions at Simmons. What's the standard of review in federal court? What's the holding in Mapp v. Ohio? Explain the political question doctrine. Is the Constitution based on plenary or enumerated powers? Some answers? Vague. One she couldn't remember. Mapp v. Ohio. This isn't legal trivia, it's basic knowledge. By the end, Kennedy's tone says it all. He's not yelling, but his methodical questioning paints a clear picture. these nominees might not be ready.
What is the standard of review in federal court for questions of fact?
For questions of fact by the trial court, it is clear error, sir.
Okay. What's the standard of review for questions of law?
In the trial court level, it's de novo.
Okay. What's the holding in Mapp v. Ohio?
Mapp v. Ohio, since I've been practicing as a district attorney for the last 12 years, as well as a Superior Court judge over the last 5 years, I know what the holding is. It escapes me as I currently sit here, but...
Okay.
Here's the deal. Federal judges hold lifetime appointments. That's power that lasts decades. We need judges who understand the Constitution and apply it wisely. For more insights, click subscribe and turn on notifications.